What is up, Hexicans and Pulsinators? Welcome back to another video. Thank you for joining me. We'll start the call-in portion in a minute, but I want to cover a few relevant stories first. Big update from Richard Hart. Okay, PulseX and Pulsechain update. Aragon is synced and the block explorers are indexing very nicely. Love it. Average block time 10 seconds. Total amount of transactions on the testnet 3.6 million transactions, 16.5 million blocks. And the wallet address is 753,000 wallet addresses, and the project hasn't even launched yet. Now, I'm not sure how accurate that number is, but it really does feel like we're getting close to the Pulsechain launch. Richard Hart is playing this humble meta. He's done with the bragging for now. I don't know if he's just testing out this strategy to see if it gets more growth, but you see the engagement he's getting on these tweets. It's crazy. Almost 250,000 views, 5,000 likes. And I really love this profile picture. Richard Hart with all of his black classmates wearing a Nintendo t-shirt. Gaming might be cool now, but gaming did not used to be cool. And it's already, I don't know if anyone else has gone to an all-black school as a white kid. It's a very difficult thing, and a lot of people aren't used to being the minority. But I just like this outlook that Richard's taking. We had USD coin depeg the other day. A lot of people were starting to worry about it. And I think Richard Hart swapped some USD coin into DAI. Algorithmic stable coins seem to be a little bit safer right now, but I don't think USD coin has any trouble. Yeah, they have $8 billion locked up in Silicon Valley Bank, but they have tens of billions of dollars outside of that bank backing their coin. And when you have someone like BlackRock, the fourth branch of the US government, $10 trillion in assets under management invested in your project, I'm not really too worried about it. BlackRock knows what they're doing. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen says there will be no bailout for Silicon Valley Bank despite fears of a meltdown. So it doesn't look like we're going to see the 2008 Great Recession bailout again. Some people were speculating that, JP Morgan could be next to go down. I don't think that's true either. I think Silicon Valley Bank just had some mismanagement, but maybe there could be more banks failing. There was a really interesting article. I didn't actually have it pulled up, but check this one out, guys. Billionaire hedge fund manager, if my internet would speed up, Bill Ackman, all right, you tell me if this is FUD or not, you be the judge, warns the U.S. government needs to fix mistake in 48 hours or face destruction. In a March 11th tweet, Bill Ackman, CEO of hedge fund management firm Pershing Square Capital Management, said a giant sucking sound will be heard from the withdrawal of substantially all uninsured deposits from all banks, not just the systematically important banks. Ackman suggested that this would be the result of the world realizing what an uninsured deposit is. A lot of people don't really understand the FDIC policy, and he warns that these withdrawals would drain liquidity from the community and begin the destruction of these crucial institutions. So I was just saying earlier that I don't think all these banks are going to fail, but I'm not going to act like for a second I know more about the banking systems and traditional finance than CEO of Pershing Square Capital. Thought that was an interesting story. Another general story. What do you guys think about this Ethereum token being classified as a security? Now keep in mind, New York is that state that is just very, very aggressive with their blockchain regulation by enforcement. We had a lot of lawsuits in the past year out of New York with Tether, and Tether turned out to do all right. Now maybe in the future something happens with Tether. A lot of people speculate on Tether, but I wouldn't be too worried about this. Do you guys think, though, that Ethereum is actually a security? Comment in the comment section below. The transition from proof of stake is a little bit questionable because there is a expectation of profit from the work of others. I don't know about that, right? Because you're just running a validator node. But it's more centralized, and yes, it saves more energy, but ultimately this could maybe put Ethereum in the same boat as something like XRP. Motley Investor showing us that PulseX sacrifice address just moved 40 million Tether. What will he do with it? Go ahead, speculate below in the comment section. Why is the sacrifice address moving 40 million USDT? I'd be curious to hear your thoughts there. Hex founder Richard Hart used to call everyone a scammer. 2 years after crowdfunding billions for Pulsechain and PulseX, he still hasn't launched them. He recently deleted his Instagram account and Twitter bio revamped. And people are saying, oh, why did Richard delete Hex and Pulsechain from his bio? Why did he delete his Instagram account? I think it has to do with the rebranding in this humble Richard meta. Do you guys miss the flexing, or do you like this humble Richard meta? Personally, I think it's the way to go. I had no problem with his flexing, but we live in a very insecure world. Ideally, everyone in the world loves themselves like Richard Hart does, but not a lot of people have that level of confidence, that level of self-love, and people can't really see past his personality. Very smart people. It's kind of like an IQ test. Some people are too smart for themselves. I really like this humble meta though more. I think it's going to alienate less people, and you guys have been seeing his tweets, his updates about Pulsechain. They're going crazy viral, so I really like what he's doing now. HV'd Hex, our Hex supermodel. Hex is about to break 7 cents again, and this was a little bit delayed because Hex is at 7.7 cents, guys. And 7 cents was that level of resistance. Now, I already had this line drawn here, and look how beautifully Hex back tested it and now is bouncing up. After 7 cents, guys, well, I'd have to look at the chart. You know, technical analysis, some people think it's BS. I think there's some truth to it, but ultimately when we have things like Silicon Valley Bank, Bitcoin dumping, there's a lot of external factors that can really affect the price. But after 7 cents is broken, we have a lot of upside here. People are saying the next stop, you know, unless there's a black swan, unless there's a dump, could be 13 to 20 cents. So exciting times, man. Ivan on Tech, 500,000 subscribers. Look what he's saying. Hex is taking out massive resistance right now. Kind of like what I was just saying. You see this 7 cent range is the last level that Hex went up and tested. And then ever since September of 2022, we've just been in a downtrend. And Hex is finally testing that level, back testing it, not resistance anymore. It's now support. And there's a lot of upside right now. This is kind of a sad story. This guy says you love to see it. And this guy sold 4.6 million Hex yesterday. He bought back in today at higher prices and only got 3.7 million Hex. What's your guys' goal amount of Hex? Right? Do you want 100 million Hex? Do you just want 1 million Hex? In the future, it's going to be very difficult to even get 100,000 Hex, in my opinion. But this is why you don't doubt the product. This guy lost 1 million of his Hex, about 25% of this bag. Maybe he has more, maybe he doesn't. And it's kind of crazy. 4 million Hex at the top of the last bull run was like $3 million almost, maybe $2.7 million. And you guys can buy that amount of Hex for not a cheap amount, $280,000. But Hex is the easiest 10x right now in crypto. Pulsechain is going to absolutely ignite the Hex price. And you see it every time Richard posts these updates, what happens to the price? It just ratchets. Pardon me, I'm getting excited. I can't even speak. It just ratchets up. People are getting very excited about the launch, and we're seeing the effects of Pulsechain on the Hex price just from these small updates. Imagine when testnet launches. Imagine when Pulsechain actually launches mainnet. It's going to be crazy, guys. Think about the run-up that the price did during the sacrifice phases. Imagine what it could do as long as there's not a black swan, as long as there's not a dump. Imagine what it could do with the launch. Johnny Chaos says, what happens if 10 million of Panic stablecoins come into Hex in one buy? You get a 32-cent Hex. $10 million, guys, that's a lot of money. But in crypto, there's a lot of people that have $10 million. I'm not trying to say it's not a lot of money, but in crypto, that's not hard to come by. There was an interesting thread on Twitter that with these Silicon Valley Bank collapse and USD coin depegging, a lot of people fled USD coin into Hex. We got a lot of smart people in the Hex community. I don't understand the reason behind that, but maybe people are just looking at Hex as a more stable store of value than some of these stable coins. Who knows? KDP Crypto says it started adoption. Morales Web 3 is Ivan on Tech's like blockchain course, and this guy he's fully deep into Pulsechain. He's been tweeting about it. He has it on his academy site, and all these influencers, Richard has said, got into the sacrifice. Now, some of them aren't talking about it because they have audiences, they have subscribers, and Richard is a very polarizing figure, and some of them just care about their numbers over actually providing value to their subscribers. They don't want to alienate their fan base. They don't want to irritate people. So they just kind of have to be more neutral on these things. But respect to Ivan on Tech for kind of taking the initiative, not being afraid, because ultimately, guys, Pulsechain is going to be one of the best tokens in the next bull market. I truly do believe this. And it's kind of despicable that these massive influencers that shill these trading links, these guys make massive amounts of money off these affiliate trading links. It's absurd, especially when they have hundreds of thousands of subscribers. So it's good to see Ivan on Tech doing this, and I'm sure we will see other big influencers, people like CryptoFace, Carl on the Moon. I'm sure there's many more that I'm forgetting, talking about Pulsechain once it comes out. 43% of blocks indexed for Pulsechain testnet v3. We're getting close. I don't think testnet launches just when we hit 100%, but the updates keep coming, and maybe it's 2 weeks, maybe it's 2 months. I truly don't know, but it really does feel close. Thank you guys for watching. God bless you all. And if you're still watching the video, give me a Pulsechain launch date prediction. Of course, no one knows, but let's just have some fun. Let's speculate. 3 days, 33 days, 69 days, 420 days. Give me a launch timeline prediction in the comment section below. God bless you guys. Have a great Sunday. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your families. Until next time.